Hey everybody, this is Oscar from the Side Hustle Playbook, and wanted to do a quick video to answer a question that we got regarding what we do with our stagnant inventory. As you start building your eBay business, you're going to have a lot of products that you buy and sell right away, and business is good, but it's inevitable you're going to have some products that just don't sell very well, if at all. So you don't want to have all that inventory just kind of sitting there. At least in my case, it's one of those things where I just don't have a lot of space since I do work out of my garage. I don't, want to have things just sitting there for too long. So here's a kind of list of things that I do to try to get those things moving, and seeing if we can definitely, make a sale and get them out of here. So the first thing we do is, and before we start with anything, let me go ahead and reiterate, and I've talked about it in other videos, you want to know what your shipping costs are going to be. And that's very important because as you start either doing, best offers, or, what we're going to do is, when we start lowering prices, you want to make sure that at any point, even if you decide, what, I'm going to break even on this item, you want to make sure you don't lose money on the shipping costs. And I've made that mistake many times where I get a product, I assume it's under a pound or what have you, and when I actually pack it up and find a box for it, I'm over that pound. So I end up eating that cost. So it's one of those things you definitely want to avoid. So make sure you have your box, make sure you've already weighed the items so you know your shipping and whether the dimensions are all inputted. You want to make sure everything's there so that as you're moving your prices up and down, you're not going to get burned. So first thing we do then is whatever price I have it at, we usually have the, best offer. So that kind of tells me if there's any real interest in the item. So if I have a price set up and I'm not even getting best offers for it, I'm kind of understanding that maybe it's not going to be a very popular item. There's not maybe too much demand for it. Again, when we try to buy items, we're definitely looking at sold item listings in eBay, trying to make sure that there's a good history of that product and kind of getting a good gauge of what it's been selling for. So we try to list it in that range. But of course, it's not always going to work. It's not always going to happen. Interest for a product may go up or down. It's just the nature of the beast. So in that case, so say I'm selling something for $20. No best offers, no nothing. The first step is, well, usually just lower the price. I'll lower my price, see what happens. Depending on what I bought it at will kind of dictate how far I'll go. But I'll kind of mess around with the pricing and see if, maybe lowering it 20%, maybe 30%, and kind of just playing with that every, 7 days or so to see if I can push it out. You can do promoted listings. And promoted listings that we have sold some items with it. I haven't seen the huge benefit of it. I mean, I'm sure there's folks out there that will swear by it. And like I said, I've listed some stuff using promoted listings. Some have sold, but it's not like you're going to see this huge influx. If your product isn't very popular at that moment, whether you're putting it in people's faces may or may not help. So for me, if I'm gonna, lower the price, I would rather just lower the price rather than do the promoted listings, and then have to pay the fees for that promoted listing. And again, each product, everybody there, has their own business and way of doing things. So you kind of do what's best for you. But that's how I play. I usually stay away from the promoted listings. For the most part, there are ones that we've done, and like I said, sometimes we get a hit, sometimes most times we don't. But again, it's not going to cost you anything to try it out until you sell the item. So that is the thing with the promoted listings. One of the other things that I do that I found some good success, and when done right, and I think it's over the years we've done it well. At times, and we've also learned and done it wrong at times, and that's kind of when we create bundles. So we'll do product bundles, and it's just basically getting two similar or two items in the same niche, and then bundling together. And it's the thought process is for us. if you were to go to a store physically and you bought one item, what would be something else that you would, kind of put together, like, oh, as you're walking out, if you see it, or if you see it on the same, aisle that you could buy together. So that's kind of what we look for. Where it doesn't work very well is if you have items, even if they're in the same niche, that really don't go together. And I'll show you one that we did, no success whatsoever. And it's going to happen again with anything. Always try it, but just make sure you have your shipping costs. Again, when you're bundling it, now your weights are going to change. The box you might have to change out. Get that all squared away. Make sure you measure, make sure you weigh it, and then when you do your bundle listing, make sure you list it appropriately when it comes to the shipping. But that way you can make sure you're not going to lose money depending on how low you can go, right? So but as an example, we did a sporting goods buy not too long ago. There were some items that just weren't selling by themselves very well. And so one of the items that we were getting were, these lineup cards. It's like a book of them, which is cool. But if you're like a baseball coach, softball coach, you've seen these, you've used them. And they're consumable, which is nice. But alone, you're not going to really buy it online for the most part, unless you're usually going to buy this if you go to your Dick's Sporting Goods or something like that, where you see it. And it's kind of like an add-on item, right? So what we decided to do was bundle them. So we bundled 3 lineup books, and that way you're getting more bang for your buck. We can price it a little higher, but then we also added a sports clicking pitch counter type of thing that a lot of coaches use, and we kind of did this as a bundle, right? So we're able to price it quite a bit higher, and I think like each one of these books is like $4 in the stores, and then like the pitch counter can be like $7, $8 depending. So we're able to kind of put it in the $19.99 range, $24 range, I think was what we did. And we noticed we were selling a lot more, a lot quicker. So that was a good bundle. It, again, allowed us to kind of, because I had tons of these of books, and we still have quite, a few, but nowhere near where we're at. And then I also had a box of these. Again, tough to sell by itself. But what I liked about this bundle is weight-wise and packaging, it's pretty cool. It's just, it's a small package. Weight-wise, it's not that heavy, so we can still get in a good, where that shipping cost isn't going to be too bad, and it's not going to give anybody a shell shock. Because one thing I've learned is if somebody's buying something for like say $9.99 and then your shipping is like $8.99 because you're shipping it, and it's over it's over a pound on UPS or something like that, that's a tough sell. So for this, getting it at $5-6 to ship definitely helps out to kind of get that person to pull the trigger and make that sale. So this is an example of a good bundle for us. It's kind of worked. But again, as you can see, same niche, but also something that, a coach, so we're kind of looking for a baseball or softball coach, is going to use both of these items and would, buy them at the same time if they're at, a regular store. Let me show you an example of one that didn't work out too well. So on this one, again, it was same niche, again, same bin of stuff that we got, that was like sporting goods. So my thinking was like, oh, these aren't selling. Let me just put these together, and I'm sure somebody will buy them. So I had like synthetic bat grip, and then I had I had a bunch of these glove breaking kits. So all baseball or softball. This will be great. They'll sell. Well, they didn't, and I think the reason, once you take a step back and look at the products, yes, they're in the same niche, but would a person, maybe they would buy them together, but normally if you're buying a glove breaking kit, you're buying a glove breaking kit because you need to do something with your glove. You just got a new glove. You're not really probably thinking about the batting piece, right? Again, this could be, something that somebody would buy and it'd be all good. So, that didn't do too well for us. I think we've sold maybe one set. So, that being said, we adjusted. I looked for other stuff that we had that might be able to bundle because these were kind of tough to sell. just for some reason they just weren't selling very well. So I went ahead and I even tried bundling like 2 of them. Again, usually when you buy one grip, you really don't need to re-grip it again for a while. So having a second really didn't make sense for a lot of folks. But then I went ahead and we got another bin full of stuff of Amazon liquidation stuff, which was cool. And we found a bunch of these C flaps. These are for the batting helmet, but batting, and we put these together. And this is kind of like we're almost doing this as an add-on, right? Like this is, if you buy this, you're gonna get this free type of thing. And that sold very well for us. We sold these like hotcakes. Like I said, just have one set left. And it's been good. So again, looking for items that kind of fit together, with in the same niche, but also something that you would use or buy at the same time at a regular store. So definitely look at your inventory and see what you have there. You might be able to kind of pair some things together if you have a lot of stagnant, inventory there. But that's the thing. Just kind of be creative. Don't be afraid to try different things. Kind of mix them up. But just make sure you're protecting yourself on your pricing as well as your shipping. Make sure you have those 2 items, kind of figured out. What's going to be the lowest price you can go for something or sell something at where you're still going to be happy with whatever profit you make. For us, there are many times, right, where you just make bad purchases. You buy stuff and it just doesn't, it doesn't sell. So it's like, for each of you guys out there, it's going to depend on your own business as how long you want to hold on to it. For me, as long as it's not taking up too much space, we'll hold on to it for quite some time. But if after we do the sale, where we put the price down, if that doesn't work, I might even do promoted listings on stuff and just to try to get it out of here. But if that doesn't work, we'll do the bundles. If that doesn't work and we still can't get rid of it, and it's sitting there for quite some time, then we'll look at maybe just either donating it, giving it away, or doing something else with it. Again, it's going to depend on how much money I have into it. If it's something like if these things that were cheap, when you think of the whole bin, it's not going to be that big of a deal if we donate them. But if you're getting, if you're spending some, good money on individual products, you're probably going to want to hold on to them a little bit longer. Try something like OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, things like that to try to liquidate it. And, you're kind of doing the same thing that these big boys, these big box chains do, is you're liquidating the inventory to try to make room for other inventory that you think might sell faster. Because that's the name of the game, right? First in, first out. You want these sales to go quick. You don't want, money just sitting on the shelves. So, so hopefully these tips help you out. If you have any other questions, feel free to, send us a message here on YouTube. You can always send us a message on our website at sidehustleplaybook.biz. And you can also hang out with us on Facebook. So you have a great one. Wishing you guys all the best of luck with your businesses, and we'll see you next time.